Hello everyone, I'm Caroline and today I'm going to be inking in and using markers to colour in one of my characters. Now this is Lucy. I've left her as dark as I possibly could to see if it'll pick up on camera. I draw a person every day and that has developed from random people that didn't look much like people when I first started. So I have three main characters in my Draw Everyday sketchbook. And here it is. So I'll just give you a little look at Lucy. She features through just about every page. And she changes slightly because I still haven't got the knack of drawing exactly the same face for her every time. And these are my other girls. This one is Pippa and this one is Dee, and they all have their very individual personalities, and they even have little sisters that look just like them. But I wanted today to focus on Lucy. So here she is, and I've decided to draw her as a butterfly fairy. No particular reason, I just thought it looked nice. So I'm going to start by inking her in, and then I'm going to use my markers. But I thought you might like to see what I've got in my pencil case before I start, because I know a lot of people are really interested in what's in your pencil case. And the first thing I've got is this very vicious scissors that I'm forever stabbing myself on. I really should find somewhere else to store it. And then I've got my pencil, which is a nice day propelling pencil, and my Faber-Castell rubber or eraser. I love these. They make a bit of a mess because the bits that come off are quite chunky, but it's so good you can even use it a bit like a putty rubber. I tend to like, if I did a little bit on this one here, checking you can see, if you rub it on the flat you can take some of the colour out before you ink in. So I use that as a real all-purpose rubber. I don't have to have my putty rubber with me at all now. I've got myself some various fine liners and I'm going to be using the 0.3 today. I think of the two, I prefer the microns. I find them, they dry just a little bit faster. I'm always in a rush when I do my art, so I don't give the fine liners time to dry properly, and then I end up with smudges. So I don't have a 0.3 today in my micron, so I switched back to my Unipin fine liner. I've also got a Posca pen, really mainly just for drawing the shines in the eyes of my character. That's the biggest use I have for that one from my pencil case. Unless I'm specifically doing Posca pen art, then it's just for tiny little dots every day. And I've got myself some blending tools for if ever I work with just pencil. Got my Stabilo awl, which is shrinking rapidly. I use this for outlining things in my journal and then just moistening the edges, and it makes a lovely effect. And I've got my spare pencil heads. I get through tons of those. I've got an emergency, it turns out I've got two emergency sharpeners, because I think if I'm away, I've grabbed my pencil case quickly and then something goes wrong with my mechanical pencil, I'm stuck. So I could just go out, buy a cheap pencil and sharpen them. And I've got a little bit of rubber left from my pencil eraser, and I've got another scissors in the bottom I didn't realise I had, and that, which is the end of a paintbrush to stop you bending the hairs. So that poor paintbrush is a bit vulnerable. Right, while I've got everything out, I'll clear all the bits from there. There we go, I've got a nice shiny pencil case now. I'll put my scissors in the bottom and then pile everything else in. I'm going to need my eraser and my fine liner and all the rest. I can go in my pencil case, clean the bits off, and I'm ready to start inking. I'll turn that way. This is my sketchbook. This isn't going to be something that I'm keeping archivally or anything, so I don't mind if I get a few spludges and things on it. It's just something to practice, and I can always, if I like it, draw a bigger version. The only problem with these spiral ones, the spirals get in the way of your hand. So what I can do, and I keep thinking about this and then forgetting, is to turn my book the other way when I'm coming this way, and then my hand would be free to draw without these bulky lumps. But still, I'm going to go for it anyway. Right, I think I've altered my autofocus to be on this height now because I've tuck the page under so it's a little deeper. I'm still struggling with my new camera, but I'll get there in the end. Right, so the first thing I need to do is ink this in with my 0.3 fine liner. So I'll pop some music on. If you want to relax, grab your sketchbook and draw along with me, or if you're going to craft along with me, journal along with me, whatever you're going to do, join me and just have some art time fun. You can't beat a bit of art time fun. So there we go, that's Lucy all inked in. Now I was going to watercolour this, and that's why I went over it with a coloured pencil over the top of the just grey pencil, and now that I'm going to colour her with markers, I regret that a little bit, because I am a very scruffy fine liner inking in person, and I tend to go out of the lines quite a lot. And also I'm terrible from drawing, thinking, I could alter that a little bit. And then you rub out the grey and it doesn't matter. The colour pencils don't rub out as well, so you can see where I've done that. But I think we'll be okay. I always struggle with the eyes. The eyes look really good, and then I go over them with a fine liner and they're never quite even. But that's okay, because she's so pretty. I think we'll be okay. Ultimately, the whole point of this art is to enjoy it, to learn as I'm going along, yes, but also to have a lot of fun. Right, time to rub out all the lines that I can. Oh no, that coloured pencil is rubbing out quite easily. This is what I mean by this Faber-Castell eraser. See all the big lumps? So now it's time to colour her in. I put the fine liner to the side. I will be needing it later, and I can put my rubber away. Now this is where I keep my markers. I've got others, but this is my I use everyday marker tub box. Wallet, I don't know what you would call it. Holder. And I do overpack it. It's got all the spaces here. You see all bits of eraser all in the inside here. So it's supposed to take, if I show you that many. but then I just need a few extras, so I slip them in when I'm zipping it up. So the main colours I have in here are for my characters. Now this is Lucy's hair, and this is Pippa's hair, and this is Dee's hair. I've also got, I always use these blues for my denim, so I've got the mid and the darker one there for denim, and I've got my skin tones. Now I've got one Spectrum Noir pen I'm using. I did have two. I've just had that pen run out on me, so I've got a Pro marker I had there, which is saffron, a bit darker than I usually use, but I'm thinking, well, if I've got all these skinish tones, I might as well use them up. So I'm using those for my skin tones, and Lucy's hair is going to be a light yellow and a darker yellow, and we're going to need lots of colours for her wings and things, so we'll just get on with her skin tone and her hair, and then we'll come back and decide what colour clothing she's wearing. Come on, Lucy, let's turn you into something very bright and vibrant. So we'll do the skin tone first. For any of you who use markers, do you use Pro markers? Do you use any other marker, Spectrum Noir? Do you use Copics? Now, I like the idea of Copics because you can refill them, so there are very few pens that actually get thrown away, and you can even replace the nibs eventually when they get a bit tatty. But they're so expensive, plus I have noticed that the colours that I like, generally you can't get refills in anyway. So I'm trying to decide whether or not to switch over to Copics or not. I think the postage and the import taxes are going to be a bit prohibitive if I buy them from abroad, so I'd need to find a good supplier. I'm just thinking, the Pro markers, my older Pro markers have got quite a lot of juice in them. Oh, as you can see, she's a little bit grey in places because I haven't let my fine liner dry. So as I was saying, the older Pro markers seem to have more ink in than the newer ones. The newer ones I bought to replace the colours I was using are running out so quickly. So I'd like to change the pens I use, but it's been able to get access to just the colours I want. I've got enough now buying multiple packs. You get one or two of the colours you want, and then it's nice to have the bonus colours. But I'd like to be specific and just buy my favourite skin tones, that sort of thing. So if I could find a Copic pen colour that I liked for skin tone, and then I could buy the refills, then that would bring the price down a lot more reasonable, and also there'd be a lot more waste. But I don't know what to do, so I'm rambling a bit here. I'm confused. I don't know where to go on this. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Do you find that you're quite happy and you save money even by buying multi-packs of pens, just using the ones you want? It still works out cheaper than Copics. Do any of you use Copics and you find them wonderful? And then you've got the question. Oops, shouldn't have done that. Then you've got the question, do you go for Copic Chow or Copic Sketch? Now, I've heard that Copic Sketch are the best ones. Oops, click the end of it. And I do love the look on them. I know that's a very shallow way but to make a decision on a pen, but they've just got that nice stylish look. But are they worth it? What do you reckon? Have you ever bought them and thought, wish I hadn't paid all that money for these, they're only as good as my last ones, my cheaper ones, or are you happy with them? I know Wahoo have got quite a nice range of markers, but again, you can only buy the whole pack. So when I've run out of the colours I like, I'm then stuck with colours I don't want, and I'll have to buy a whole pack to replace them again, which I don't think is going to be long-term a very cheap way of doing it. It's very difficult to decide where I'm putting these shadows on chat. I'm getting a bit distracted. So what would your advice be? I really would love to know. And I think other people could read the comments as well then and see what your thoughts are. Because it is very difficult to get a definitive answer. You've got people who swear by Wahoo-hoos. You've got people who swear by Copics. And people who say, it doesn't make any difference what you use. So what I'm looking for is pens I can buy individual colours of that I like, that are light enough, because some of the colours, no matter what they say on the pen, that's not the colour you get. And something ideally that's refillable. Another question, have you ever used the Copic refillable containers to refill something that's not a Copic? Can you get away with that? Another question. As you can see, this yellow is running out now, and that makes it worse where my my fine liner tends to run a bit, because I'm rubbing a bit more to get the colour off the pen. And then that gives the fine liner more excuse to run a little bit. But again, this is lemon. This is the second yellow that Lucy's hair has been. Her skin tone has been various tones over the years. See, it's rubbing there again. But I can't get... What I'd like is if they'd said, oh, you can pick 10 colours and we give you them at the price of a mixed pack. And then I could have exactly what I wanted. But they don't allow you to have that. I'm never quite sure how to shade the hair. I'm generally making it up on the fly. It's different every time. I've seen some tutorials on how to shade hair, but I don't know, it's not sinking in with me, so that'll do. Right, so there we go. One eye's going down a little bit. She's got one miserable face and one happy face. Then we won't look at that. Don't tell anybody, that's our secret. Right, so Lucy has blue eyes. I tend to do the darker of the blue at the top, like that. And then the lighter down the bottom. Now she looks a bit spooky at the moment, but this is where the magic fine liner comes in. Now I don't like to draw the full circle of the pupil, which is black, because I never quite get it right. So I start in the middle and I want it to be touching the top. So I just make it bigger and bigger until I'm happy with it. Touching the top again, and then keep going back until they're roughly the same. One trick I've come up with when the eyes are really badly wrong is I will thicken the top of the small eye with some really strong eyeliner, like that, and then I'll lower the bottom of the other one a little bit with the eyeliner, and it just helps. It looks a little bit more symmetrical. Maybe I've overdone it there. I will give her some eyelashes. Always a critical point for me. Never quite got the eyelashes right. I think I could do with a finer fine liner. There we go. And something I often miss out. I take my photograph of Lucy when I've drawn her in the mornings, and I realise then, oh no, I forgot eyebrows. So let's pop the eyebrows on. There. And from there, it's going to go behind her hair. In manga, they tend to draw the eyebrows over the hair, but I like them behind. Oops, that's not quite touching. There. And I don't like to give Lucy a sort of wow red mouth unless she's going somewhere special. So I've got these two pens here. Now this one looks like it's the sort of more muted red, and this looks like the fiery red, but it isn't. It's the other way round. So this is the carmine. If I put that there, and if I put the red, which is in the muted tone one there, you can see that's much brighter. Well, I hope you can. So I give her the carmine red. Carmine, not quite sure. Lips. There. There we go. Bit of a wonky mouth, but it'll do. Right, now we're going to do some jeans on the bottom half. I love this when you're actually making your own person. You can make them be the way you want them to be. You can give them your own personality. And I like the fact that she looks so pretty, so cute. She's got beautiful wings, but she's wearing faded jeans. If I was young again, it's a look I'd go for. One thing I have noticed, I don't know if you've noticed it, is that when your pen's running out on the one end, it tends to work much better on the other. Now, I store my pens flat, so it can't be that the ink is all running to one end. So I generally, although I draw the colour with the bullet nib, I do the inside with the chisel nib, isn't it? Yep, chisel nib, because it just means that the pen seems to stay moist longer. This one's running out too. The jeans will be changing shade slightly for the next blue that I got that is roughly light. There. I always like to put an orange button on my jeans. I don't know why. They're more yellowy gold really, but I always put an orange one on. There we go. And it's my design, so I can put the colour button I fancy on. With this a little bit because it's quite blotchy because it's dry. Yep, there's a bit I've missed there. There we go. So there's that. And now come in with a little bit of shade, which again is hit and miss. I tend to always have my shade on this side. The light source is always coming this way. I have no idea why, other than I started doing it that way. So I'm just used to doing the light source that way. I'll change it one day just to try. I don't think it's going to make a lot of difference unless it's in a scene where you can actually tell where the light source is coming from anyway. So I can just do it the way I want to. And when I draw in the mornings, every morning, I tend to be in a hurry. So then the quicker I can do, if I can get myself in a routine of set things, it just makes life easier. So my thought process on the shading is, I'll tell you, is that I just draw a thin line down there because that would be the back of the leg. Anywhere where the light wouldn't be getting to as easily, I darken. So this side of her jeans, because the light source is coming in this way, are darker. And under behind her hands, that's stopping some of the light as well. Right, so now we have to make a decision. What colour top are we going to give Lucy? Now, I always like to put Lucy in pink. So here we have my Lucy pink colours. They're not actually Lucy pink, that's baby pink, and that is cerise. So we use the cerise as a shadow, and we'll come around with the baby pink. Now, when I'm really working on something, oops, that needs to be blue there, doesn't it? Does it? I'm not sure. I'll leave it pink. When I'm really working on something special, I'll use 3 colour pens when I'm doing shading. So we've got the original colour, then the dark shadow and something in between. But generally when I'm working in my sketchbook, I just do the 2. I got my normal colour and then the colour that is in shade. You can see a lot of my pens are running out now, but I don't want to go making a decision on what ones to buy until I'm sure what I'm going to be setting up with for the next couple of years, because you still have to pay a lot for a pen that isn't a Copic if I'm going to then settle with refillable Copics. But if I'm not going to be settling with refillable Copics, then I could really go buying now. So this is why I'm asking for your help. What should I do? I was amazed when I realised how expensive Copics were. I thought, they're felt pens. You can get 10 for 99p in the pound shop. But then I realised not all felt pens are the same. One thing I like about my pens is that when I bought them, I got them from eBay. Oh, that was a bit gungy. But I've got these fine liners on the end. So you can draw some fine lining, which is ideal for patterns and things like that. But most of them are gunged up. I've cleaned up the ones I used, but the rest are still a bit gungy. I may do a video on how to clean those, because if you have got them, it's quite an ordeal until you know what you're doing. Ask me how I know. Right, so that's that pink. And now we're going to do some shadow. Now, under her arm here, I would say she would have some shadow, but then disappear into nothing because this is on the top. Her sleeve under there is going to have some shadow. I shouldn't have done that bit of black line. And under here is going to have some shadow too. And then under here, down to there. I'm never quite sure with this area how is best to tackle it. So I think I try to imagine where the shadows would be, and I think the shadows will come up there and then down on the inside of the arm here because it's behind her a little bit. But then this side is all going to be in shade because the light is coming this way. So that is my thought process. It's probably not one to follow. I'm sure there are much better tutorials and things on YouTube that will tell you how to shade properly. Right, I think we'll do her shoes pink as well. So this is the darker, so I'll just do the back shadow part and the bottom of the shoe already. And that's going to be facing away from the light source there. And now we'll do the lighter pink there. Oh, we're getting there. Oops, I've got an avalanche of my pens. Let's give her the orange jeans button. Right, now we got the wings. I haven't pre-thought this out. I thought, well, rather than say, oh yes, this is going to be the colour scheme, let's go for it as we go along. So let's have a look. As you can see, my neat pens are not looking so neat anymore. Let's organise them so that they're a bit tidier. Excuse me, Lucy, you pop over there a minute. Right, so the skin tones go here. I always put them in exactly the same place. And that way then I can, when they are in the right place, put my hands on them straight away. Right, there's one missing from here. What's missing there? The pale pink, which I sometimes use for blush. That's why it's in with the skin tones. And I've got my reds with my darker pink there. And then my blues over here. We're just a little bit more organised now, otherwise I can't see what I've got. The orange goes in there, and then these are just the random ones that don't fit anyway. Right, so Lucy's wings. Let's have a look. Now we can do her in sort of traditional colours. We could do like browns on the background, and we could do oranges, a variety of oranges with some yellow. Yep, I think we'll go for some yellow. Are we going to tie the wings in? Can you see this? Yep, I need to move her over a bit. I just had a look. So we need to tie the wings in a bit with her, or do we? Are we better off having them really contrasting? I think we will. I don't want to do more pinks and blues on her. So I'm going to go around the outside. Let's have a look at my browns. I think I'll do the medium brown, and then I've got the darker brown for shading. So should we go for that first? Or should we go for the colours first? We go for the browns first. Very difficult for me to go in the lines. I put it down. I'm a very clumsy person anyway, but I tend to put it down to my clumsiness. But is it just me? Do you have problems too with staying in the lines when you're doing your marker work or whatever? I very rarely have a whole drawing with everything in the lines. I really should go for a more loose style and it wouldn't matter then. Oops, there's not a lot left in this brown either. Yeah, we'll make it. You can always turn the pen up the other way and that'll get it through. I wonder who first came up with felt pens. Remember when I was a little girl? So this was back in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s. And some people from our town used to work in, well, they didn't work in the felt pen factory. They used to have homework. And they'd be given the tubes and the lids and the, whatever the little things with the inks in are called. And they'd build the felt pens, or the marker pens. We used to call them felt pens then. And they'd get piecework. So for every 100 they built, they'd get paid a certain amount. It wasn't a lot of money. It certainly was never going to make any of them rich. But it was a nice little addition to their income. Especially for the mums who... It wasn't so common in those days for the mums to go out to work, but they wanted to feel like they were contributing. They could get some extra money that way. So they would go into homework and they'd make felt pens and things. There's a factory near us called the Cracker Factory, to everybody who knows it. It's not called the Cracker Factory, I don't think. And they do the same sort of thing where they deliver you all bits of paper, snaps, jokes, toys, and then you have to build the crackers. And they pay you for every dozen crackers you make. You also have to build the box, put the crackers in the box, cellophane the box up, and then they pay you per box. Again, not a lot of money, but for somebody who really wants to get some additional income and can't go out for whatever reason, then they can do that, and it's quite a good little job, that. Well, I say quite a good little job, it's convenient. I suppose ultimately the wages are really low, but when you consider some people who make crafts, they make something that takes hours and hours to make. For instance, like a patchwork quilt. You're talking about a long, long time to make a patchwork quilt. You could never charge the hourly rate. So I suppose there you're getting well under what you should be paid per hour. But if you love making quilts and it's convenient, again, it's the sort of thing you can do, then it is a way of bringing in a little more money. And then you seem to get the other end of the arts world where you get paid silly money per hour for making your art because you're famous. I suppose that's very nice. Don't know if ever I'll get that famous, I doubt it, where people will pay a fortune for my art. Oh, look, it's a Caroline J. Art image. I want that on my wall. I'll give her £50,000. No, I'll give her £60,000. No, I'll give her £70,000. I think that's a pipe dream. On the other hand, who knows? In a couple of years' time, I may be back replaying this video and say, remember I said this? Don't hold your breath. I don't think it's going to happen. Well, nearly finished, but I like this brown. I suppose if I'd thought in advance, I probably would have given her brown shoes just to give it a little bit of a link between what she's wearing and the butterfly wings, because these are going to be really stark. But I don't mind. I like it. Right, then we'll do a little bit of darker brown under there and around there, and let's think where the shadows would be on here, near this edge, I suppose. Oh, it's very difficult to draw with my felt pens. The nibs are really a little bit thick for this. Around there. And am I going to regret doing this? I think I may. Yes, I'm regretting it already. Never mind, we'll keep going, we'll keep going. At the end of the day, I'm having fun. And that's what matters. I hope you're having fun with whatever art you're doing. Or even if you're just sitting down, putting your feet up and having a cuppa. I hope you're enjoying that too. It's at the time of filming this, September, the nights are drawing in really quickly. 8:30, it's dark. I love the light nights. But on the other hand, because it's getting dark so early and there's nowhere to go in the dark, it means that I got more excuse to stay in and do some art. Right, I think I'll put some shadow around there. What do you reckon? Yep, even though this actually would be flat, I think it's going to make it a little bit more interesting, three-dimensional. It's my thoughts. Right, so this is going to be dark behind there. And then a little bit there too. Should I put some on the inside here? Why not? I think I'll go for, should I go for some there? The problem is if I go here, then it makes it look like the whole thing is standing out. That's better like that. I'll leave it for now. I can always come back and alter it if I decide to. Right, now for the big decision. Are we going to put anything of her colours on here? No, we're not. We're going for it. So I suppose this is the same colour as the shadows in her hair. So I'm going to colour the bottom in there. This isn't a very detailed work. If I was going to do watercolour on it, I would then use, like on the solids, I like to use two colours. So I'd use a purple with a blue and get the colours to mingle so they don't look just plain and flat. But with markers, I think generally it's a flat look. Sorry if you don't do a flat look with your markers, but I know when I do, and a lot of the other people I see, especially manga, it is that perfect flat look, isn't it? You know, it's part of the style. There we go. Some yellow there. And now we're going to go for, I think we'll go for pale orange to start. Which I'm pretty sure. No, it seems to be quite juicy. I thought this one was running out. Under there. I like that deep rich yellow with this. What colour is it? Gold. Doesn't look like gold, looks like orange to me. But if they say it's gold, we'll go with gold. Yeah. down there, and now we'll do this one too. I do love fairies. And there are those people who say, you know, perhaps you're old enough now, you should stop believing in imaginary creatures. And I would say, imaginary creatures? You should be ashamed of yourself. Everybody knows fairies are real. You can see my messy colouring in. There. Now what I'm thinking of doing for the top of the wings is to, I think I'll do the, I want the edges to be lighter. What if I leave the nibs off my pens because I want to work fast now? We'll just try it on the tip of this one here. So we're going to start with some yellow. There, and then come down to some lighter orange. Go over that with yellow again. Coming down to some darker orange. I'm not sure whether this is going to work. There. And then mid orange over. Like that. Yep. Right, so I'll do that on the tips of these wings too. Yellow there and there. And then come to the lighter orange. Like that. I think we'll go for the lighter orange there because we've missed the tip of the yellow. And then we go for the darker orange. I'll do that quickly. And then go over with the mid-orange again. Blend it in a little bit. When I first started doing this, I thought, oh, I'll get one of those blenders. That should do the job for me. But it doesn't quite. It's not purely for blending. As in, you can't just draw a straight line and then think that your blender will deal with that for you. It doesn't. Really doesn't. Right, so that's there. Oh, I want to keep that wet because I want to put something in, but I'm tempted to put red in. What do you think? Think I'm being a little bit rash here? Oh, let's go for it. On there, on the edges a little bit, colour in the middle. And I'm not sure whether I'm going to regret this. Back with the darker orange. Ooh, it's very stark, isn't it? Let's keep going. Go right over the red. That should, there we go, that deepens up the orange a bit. And now I'll come back with the lighter orange. And then the yellow. Blending that in there. Oh yes, I like that. Right, so we'll do the same this side. Trying to remember how I did it. So I did the first two were yellow. Symmetry is an amazing thing. When you can do it, I can't. I do try. But my symmetry is dreadful when it comes to art. I've never got two matching eyes. And I've never got the mouth exactly right. How far is this coming down? To there. This is so much easier when you've got juicy pens. When your pens are drying out a bit like mine, it's a bit of a nuisance. This colour. The yellow and the gold are blending in a little bit too much for my liking on this bit. Right, so we want to do some more yellow here. Like that. Apparently, I was listening to somebody talking about bodies, not dead bodies, bodies in general. And apparently they were saying that none of us are symmetrical anyway. When you look at our faces, if you look at yourself, half of your face in a mirror, to make it into a complete face, if you see what I mean, you'll notice that you don't quite look the way you normally look because the reflection is different, because we all have two different sides to our face. It's all slightly different heights or different angles. So there we go. I'm just being natural. I'm just creating things as nature intended. That's my excuse. Yeah, we're going for the red there. It's a nice juicy red. And then we come out with the darker orange. No, that's the lighter orange. This is the darker orange. Then the lighter orange. We went over that, didn't we, with the lighter orange? It's not blending as well as the other side. Perhaps we went over it with the darker orange, did we? Do that, then the lighter. Oh yes, that's better. Oh, I'm very pleased with that. Now, she could do with some decoration. Let's put the lids on my pens first. Oh. The lids don't always fit on every pen. I end up, when I take them all off like this, wiggling them around and trying to find the ones that do fit. There we go, which is strange because they're all pro markers. Right, aha. We need to put some orange in there. There we go. I think it was orange. I don't know. Do you think we needed a bit of brown? Not sure. I think so. We could have done with like some brown come in there. And then we dig out our fine liner and pretend that's what we wanted. Well, there we go. Exactly what we wanted. Right then, so are we going to put some decoration on here? I think we should. I think I'll get out my white Posca pen. We'll put the shines in her eyes. There. And there. Oh, I love doing that. And I think we'll do... Should we do some dots on these top bits? We could do some lines, but I think dots are going to be better. We'll do some very small dots like that. Don't press too hard. More like a just hint of dot rather than polka dots. I like that. Won't show up so well on the yellow, but that's not a problem. There we go. Oh, I like, yes, definitely. Now these bottom ones are a bit bare. We need to do something with these wings. What should we do? Now we used our darker yellow, didn't we? So we can't use a light, no, I haven't got any darker than that here, but we do have the light orange. So we could do something on those wings. What could we do? Oh look, I missed under her arm there. Forever doing that sort of thing and having to go back and fill it in. Right, I wonder if we could do I have a darker brown with a fine line that works? No. Let's try it. This is why I've always got scribbles in my margins. Right, I'll try my medium brown. Oh no, stop working. Right, let's try a different brown from my set. I'll be back. Right, let's try this. Oh, it's been leaking. Clean that off. Oh well. It's very round, isn't it? At least it's working, so let's clean it all off. And we'll do some dots along here as well. So we got like light with dark dots and dark with light dots. I don't want to put too much fussy detail in because really Lucy is the star of the painting. That's what I want everybody to see. I just think, oh, there's Lucy with pretty wings, rather than, oh, there's some pretty wings with a Lucy attached. So then we just got these ones down here, this bit of orange. I could always just draw some more white dots, couldn't I? Down here. Let's try that. That's one thing that must be lovely with digital art. You try it and think, no, I don't like that. Whereas when you're doing art like this, I suppose if I was organised, I would have already done one to see what it was like, and see where I needed to put different colours. But I'd rather just wing it. I like to feel expressive. Oh, I like that. Now what I'm going to do is a little white dot in each of these little, I'm not quite sure if they got a name in butterfly anatomy, those little blobby bits on the bottom there. And, oh, should we draw some white? I don't want to do it near the edge, otherwise it'll just look like the white page. Can we do something white here? We could do some down there, I suppose. It's a big commitment. Once I've done it, it's too late to change my mind. I want to put some white on the top. No, I can't even do like little pointy bits. I'm not going to do a background today. I suppose I could do a background, just a plain coloured one. Then what colour background would I go for? Because normally I would do blue because she's in the sky. Green would be nice, a pale green. Let's have a look. Corrupt my margins again, so I got that green. They're all very dark, I think, my greens. Right, I'm gonna... Nice though. Let's see if I can find a paler green. I'm not very optimistic that either of these are pale. Oh, that one's not too bad. I'll always use that one. And no, I think I'll go for this one. Also, it's a cooler green, it's pressed leaf. So these are lovely warm colours. So it'll contrast against that. So we'll do a green background. I don't like just doing completely plain backgrounds. I think we'll just draw her an outline. I won't do the full page. We'll come down there. No, I don't think that's going to work, is it? Let's have a look. Down there. Around her hair. I have to turn this around. I like the green. I think it's looking really pretty. But I'm not sure where to end it. If you see what I mean. I like to draw a circle sometimes and fill in the circle, but I don't think I've got space. If I'd thought about it sooner, then I would have drawn her head a little bit lower. Or I suppose I could... No, the wings are too high as well for me to just draw a lower circle. Oh, I think we'll go for colouring it all in. Why not? Oh, I think that's really bringing out these colours in the wings. Oh yes, I'm glad I went for this now. Always hit and miss, so I could have done this. Oh no, I've ruined a perfectly good painting. Oh, colouring or drawing. Marker art. Never quite sure what to call things. What would you call this? Would you call this just an artwork? Or would you call it a marker colouring? Would you just call it a drawing? It's not a drawing though, is it? It's got colour on it. I don't know what I'd call it. I just call it, I can't think. A marker, no idea. What are your suggestions? Leave them in the comments. What would you call this? Is it marker art? I'll call it marker art. There we go. On top of my little brown blob. Yeah, I don't think I've got a lot of life left in this pen either. Let's see how blotchy it is. If it's just a little bit blotchy, it looks like you've tried to make it a little bit blotchy. But when you just see all the lines, it looks a mess. Right. Up in here. Yes, I definitely prefer the chisel tip to the brush tip. I think I've got a little bit more control for this sort of thing. If I was trying to draw flowers or something, you've got the nice expressive look of having the flexible tip. But when you're just doing something like this, I like to know exactly where the end of my marker is going, because I'm messy enough as it is. I always, when I'm doing this, think, shall I chat or shall I set this to music? So I've done the marker art to music, and then I've chatted to you as I'm sitting here. It's a bit of company for me and a bit of company for you. But let me know, what do you prefer? Do you prefer to just have some music and the colouring in the background? Or do you prefer the chat? I think for me, company wins. Other than if I'm trying to doze off to sleep. I do like to listen to something with music to doze off to sleep. There's one man I like, James Burke. I know he's got a really nice relaxing voice, and I love watching him do his art, and I did try using that to get off to sleep, but he's got a really brilliant, really happy but really loud laugh, which isn't very suitable for going off to sleep to. So I'm just dozing off as he's showing how to draw something like his Swatch dolls or something, and then he'd break into a huge raucous laugh and wake me up again, and I'd be like, oh, what was that? So I watch him in the day. I suppose it's horses for courses, isn't it? It's what you want when you want it, you know, the time you're looking. If you want something relaxing, you may not want to be chatted to. If you're feeling a bit lonely, you might want to be chatted to. Oh yes, look at that. That green has made all the difference. Oh, I need some green behind there. I'll use the other nib to get in there, because under her wings is showing through there. That I really like. All right, so now we can do some white. Still not sure where I want to do the white though. Should I do some pointy up bits there? Or we definitely need something. I could draw some circles. If these had gone the other way, I could have drawn some white circles down there, but they go in the same way. I think I'll go around this. I've started now. Too late to change my mind. Go around there with the white. I wish I hadn't, but still. Too late now. I don't like that. Wonder if I can get rid of it. What do you think? Will it come off? No, I'm stuck with it. Let's try going over it with my pen. Which brown did I use? This one. Whoops, this isn't watercolour paper or marker paper. It's just a standard Wiro book. So the quality of the paper isn't brilliant and it's too wet. So it's ruffling up a bit. Never mind. We leave it like that. What should we do now? Anything else? Should we do anything else, or is that finished? I just want to do something with the tips of these wings. I think I'll leave it because I'm just fiddling around now. We'll do a little shine on the ends of his shoes like that. Maybe the sun's coming in. And I think I'll leave it like that. Oh, no, we haven't finished. We've never finished until we've signed and dated it. So Caroline J, and I think it's the 10th of the 9th, 21. The other day I put my paintings out, my draw every day, and I had the wrong month and the wrong year. But that one's right, I think. So I hope you've enjoyed just having a little chat and watching me colouring and inking this picture of Lucy. If you'd like to follow me over on Instagram, I'll leave a link in the description below and I'll put it on the screen, Caroline J Art. And that way then you'll see my figures as I put them out every day, my people, and follow the story because they're always up to something. If you've enjoyed this video, then please give me a thumbs up, and it would be great if you could subscribe. And I'll see you all next time. But until then, don't forget, have fun. Bye.